Hey, my name is Mark Pugh, also known as the ARCS Professor. I'm Senior Vice President of Product Development and Marketing with Preferred Medical, a pharmacy benefit manager and ancillary services provider for work comp. However, my most important role today is as an advisory board member for the 2020 Comp Laude by Work Comp Central. I've been very fortunate to be a part of this board since 2017, and during that time, I've been able to collaborate with the best and brightest of workers' comp. These professionals from all across the country all believe what Comp Laude and its founder, the late David DiPaolo, believes. We want to see a positive change in the industry by changing the narrative. So I'm very pleased to be able to interview one of the deserving award winners at the 2020 Comp Laude, Claire Muselman. She is with the Workers Recovery Unit Director at Okay. I was doing so good. Damn it. Okay. And so I'm very pleased to be able to interview one of the deserving award winners of the 2020 Comp Laude, Claire Muselman, the Workers Recovery Unit Director at Continental Western Group. She won the Magna Comp Laude Award and the People's Choice Award. So we basically just decided to rename the event after Claire after this point. Claire, how you doing?
I am doing really well today, Mark. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, what's it like being Claire Muselman?
It's full of glitter and sparkles and lots of color on a regular basis. I feel like it is one of those, you have the ability to shine bright every day. And I have really enjoyed that when people talk about getting up in the morning to a life that you're excited about, I get to do that every day. And that's pretty exciting. I've worked through a lot of stuff just over the years, and it makes every day that I am able to get up and go provide meaning and purpose, not only to myself or my daughter, but to our organization and to the work comp industry of really living and breathing those, we make good things happen for people. There's so many opportunities every day, and it's really fun and exciting, and it makes me shine really brightly, and it makes me really excited, and I love to smile.
That is for sure. You love the term authentic, and you use that a lot in your just amazing People's Choice Award presentation, where you kind of went full open kimono and kind of shared everything that had happened with you. How are you translating that authenticity to the team that works with you and your mini-me as well? How do you pass along authenticity for people that may not know it yet or may not be comfortable with it?
Sure. So I would relate authenticity to self-love, to be very honest. I think that when we talk about how do I pass that along to my team, so when we're working with injured workers, I think it's important that we find some type of human connection point. And in my days of being an adjuster, when I worked for different companies, it was always very monotonous with this is a process. You need to do this, this, and this. We don't talk about personal things. We don't try and relate. It is you do this checkbox mentality. And so when we pass along authenticity, when we created the pillars to the Workers Recovery Unit, I broke those molds, and I wanted us to flip the script to really think about, all right, so if Mark, you have an injury, all right, Mark, who is Mark? Like what makes you, are you married? Do you have kids? Do you have any fur animals? What do you like to do? Are you an avid Iowa Hawkeyes fan? Because one would hope that you are. Sorry. But there's just so many different things that create these avenues that you can have these little tiny points of connection. And, I did share that I was adopted during the People's Choice Award, and I talked about what it was like to be in the foster care system. And it's been amazing that people throughout the industry have then reached out afterwards and just said, yeah, me too. So that's a little human connection point. And so when we are working with injured workers and I'm working with my team, at the end of the day, we are all under the same mission, vision, values of, hey, we come here to make good things happen for people. Guess what? I can understand what you're going through. I may have not experienced it and I might not know all the components, but I'm here to listen to you. I'm here to acknowledge what you're saying is true for you. And then I'm going to do whatever I can to try and make things better. And let's talk about how we can build a plan together, because you know what? I might not have been in your situation before, but I have a friend, a family member, a parent, a child, somebody that's gone through an injury of similarity, or I have some type of understanding. And that is how I'm going to help you through this, because I know what it's like to see things from a different perspective. When I look at it with my daughter, I think really embracing the fact that I am not perfect. There are days that I am not the most perfect parent, and but I forgive myself. And I think that then showcases to her that you don't have to be perfect every day, and you can just really figure out who you are and love that person. So even in our house, like in front of mirrors, I have rugs that say, hey, you're like really pretty, or go have a beautiful day. Like any type of positive affirmation, they're all over my house because I want my daughter growing up believing that in herself, because I can tell her time and time and time again. But if she doesn't believe it herself, and that's where I go back to self-love as authenticity, I'm not doing her any favors, because it's my job to teach her how to love herself and be her most unique version of herself, because she doesn't have to look like everyone else. She doesn't have to look like social media, because her purpose in life is her path. And there will never be another her. There will never be another me. There will never be another you. But we can all collectively benefit from one another and our strengths by focusing on what that is for us, whether it's what ignites us, or even like when I look at, if we go back to my team for a second, all of the leaders on my team complement my weaknesses, and I am completely okay with that. I have one that we've dubbed the Detail Duchess, because she gets so in the weeds that she makes sure I don't miss anything. And that is not my forte. I want to be visionary, and where are we going, and how are we going to get there, and how are we going to bring in the emotional intelligence? And she is my right hand with, did you think about this? Did you think about this? Well, here are the intricacies of this element, and you need to really focus on this. So I've really gotten to build this group that focuses on bringing in everyone's authentic strengths, because it's what they like to do. They know that that's their forte. And then we can really capitalize on that. Instead of trying to be the best or trying to be perfect in every aspect, you just figure out what works for you and really try and shine in that avenue. And then surround yourself with the people that help lift you in that capacity.
That's perfect. That's not surprising whatsoever. And it's a great management style, and I think a great parenting style as well. I know you've talked about the chalkboards that you have you do at your house with the different lists and the different mentalities and stuff. So, the process of the nomination is very methodical in the way Comp Laude does it. I've been on the advisory committee, so I get the opportunity to participate in some of that. But people who are nominated get different notices as they pass different milestones in this process. So I don't know if you saw the nomination coming for an award that was not really necessarily specified. But as you got those emails and notifications, hey, you passed this step, you passed this step, what went through your head? Like, I got a chance to win?
Yeah. So the people who nominated me, it's one of those self-actualization where, oh my gosh, people notice, or people pay attention, or I'm actually making a big enough impact that people see it and they hear it. And they're like, yes, this is an impact. So one, I would like to thank you, because I was nominated by you, and you've always been a very big mentor in my space, and you have helped me through some very big challenges. So I think that there was a lot more meaning and purpose that came behind mine, because I have gotten to learn from you over the years. So the fact that you had that fearless belief was really substantial for me. After my interview, the interview round was intense. And I say that because I think the woman that I interviewed with, we both ended up in tears, because I get very passionate about what I talk about. And I love this because Rafael Gonzalez and I both get emotional about things, because we've really earned our right of who we are and how we come to the table, that I'm okay to be emotional about things, but I really believe in what we do, and that we make this industry better for each other every day by coming in as who we are and really trying to shine our bright light on the avenues that we can impact. Because there's a lot of things, like I can't change state jurisdictional statutes, but I can change how I pick up the phone and have a tone in my voice, or if I'm going to actually be an active listener when someone is telling me what is ailing them. And I can sit and listen instead of always trying to provide advice back to people. You can just simply listen and let people be, in creating that type of environment. So when I was doing the interview process, there were a lot of these elements that came out, and it just became it was a really emotional afternoon. And then I remember afterwards being like, man, I love what I do. I love what I do. I love that people want to hear about it. I hope more organizations become in this type of mentality and really start focusing on that emotional intelligence side because we can make every day better for each other. You just have to want to do that. And I love waking up every day, being able to go effectively do that and find an avenue that works. I mean, not every day is awesome. We know that, but there is always some awesome in every day in some little element. So that process was amazing. And then I've since gotten to build a relationship with my interviewer, which was fantastic because I think she has a lot of value. And the other thing that I have found really amazing through this process is that, you and I have talked a lot about the transitions and how we are going to transition knowledge and industry, like just depth in the industry from one person to another. Everyone that I've gotten to be involved with in this process has something that I know I can learn from. And I have really appreciated the willingness for people to meet with me to talk further about, tell me about your career path. Tell me your story. What's worked for you to become who you are in this industry? What else would you like people to know? And people are really great at sharing their stories and saying, okay, so here's what I've experienced. This is the avenue I went. This may or may not help you, but this is how I got here. And I feel like everyone provides another growth element. So while I might have thought I was going down this path, and I know what got you here won't get you there, it has been a really nice, nurturing aspect of, hey, what if you tried this? Or have you thought about this? Or did you ever think about the way that you're perceived in this fashion? Or do you ever go back and watch yourself? No, I don't go back and watch. Like, I hate that, but I did. Went back and watched. And I will say that after watching People's Choice, I totally went and hugged myself. And I think that people would laugh at that, but I was really proud of that person that was able to do that. And even like going down the People's Choice route, like had I not had Yvonne's backing and support of saying, hey, you should really do this, and your backing and support of you should do this, I feel like I just shed so many layers by going through that process. But again, every person that is involved in Comp Laude, I think David DePaulo would be so grateful on how it has progressed, because it really is this nurturing, caring environment that wants to help people progress into whatever that is and help them bloom in whatever fashion for whatever area that they have the impact on. It is really this nurturing, amazing environment. And that is the longevity of being in the Comp Laude process, because it's not just a one-time awards. It is now lifetime friendships, lifetime development. And if you want to invest in yourself, there are people throughout this process that will invest in you back. And I think that's very unique about the whole process throughout the Comp Laude Awards.
That is so well said. And I know, David, I do agree that he would be so proud of what it has become, what Kristen has done in her leadership, has done in leadership, and the entire Work Comp Central team. So you mentioned emotion, and I remember when you won People's Choice, you were emotional. I remember when you won Magna Comp Laude, you were emotional. It sounds like that emotion came from all the different things that you learned, the conversations you had, the process. You talked about the shedding, so what was it when that moment hit, when they announced Magna Comp Laude, what was the first thing that went through your mind when they said that you had won?
My pain has turned into purpose. Very simply put, I think that every painful scenario that we go through, or anything that provides that uncomfortableness, or if we really look back at the experiences that we've had in life, they are not all bright and shiny. But that moment, I literally felt like everything aligned. I was like, I am absolutely living my purpose. And this absolutely solidifies all of it into, this is exactly where I am supposed to be, right here, right now. Everything that has culminated to this point is exactly the way it is supposed to be intended. And so whether you call that your higher purpose, or your best self, or universe, or whatever type of energy you want to call that, I felt like everything was in alignment at that moment. And it justified all the experiences to make this space just better and greater.
Well, I'm at risk of opening Pandora's box, but what do you have open? What do you have envisioned for the future? Because as you mentioned, this is kind of a lifetime achievement award, but it's milestone on the entire journey. It's not like the destination. It's just one of those milestones. So obviously you're propelled by a variety of different things, and it sounds like this had a dramatic impact on you personally on winning it. So what do you see as the next step for Claire? And again, I know I'm opening Pandora's box, but what do you see as the next steps?
You know, honestly, I really think that one of the biggest calls that we have created in this 2020 space and in working with our group, the transitions, is how do we, so this is great that we have this type of mentality within the workers recovery unit. It is great that I have leaders that back us top to bottom in our organization. But how do you develop more of that? And how do you develop more leaders that can break out and exercise thought leadership or any type of challenging any status quo? Or how do you get to build up people and bring them with you? Because one of my big personal beliefs is that if you are a leader, you should be developing other people to bring them with you, because rising tides raise all boats. And it should be our job to make good things happen for others by helping them learn from our own experiences. And then they can couple what we are sharing with them with their own to make them an even bigger, better, beautiful person. They can shine their bright, beautiful soul. And that is where I think we have a huge disconnect. And so to bring awareness of my goal in life when I was really little was always to create good people leaders. And that is something that I continue to see is a downfall, because what I have experienced in working with a lot of the older generations is that, well, I had to work my way up to get here. I had to claw my way to get here. Okay, but I wouldn't want that for anybody else that comes after me. So why can't I make this experience better? And why can't I find ways to add a seat at the table for people that are up and coming? Why can't we continue to find more development avenues? And we can find more ways, again, of collectively making things better for each other. Because if we start that at that leadership level that starts to cultivate and really take on mentorship in the way it's intended to be done, you can see better things happen throughout the workers' compensation space, because we are all trying to help one another. And when you cultivate a culture like that, that makes it easier for those people to all go work with injured workers in a much more positive aspect, because it becomes a learning organization and a helping organization that fosters excellent leadership potential. It also shows the emerging nature of really taking that emotional intelligence to the next level. It shows empathy in all aspects of life. And we collectively move the industry forward, because that is the new culture that we've instilled. So I guess I want to say, okay, so we took on the industry from a thought leadership approach. And I know that that's going to need to continue to stir. And, you know, when we look at the advocacy approach, I think that what we do at the Workers Recovery Unit is way beyond an advocacy approach. I think that I want to say that we just dialed it back, went back to kindergarten and started to treat people like you would want to be treated. But now it's got to be like a call to action for leaders to really step up into that leadership role, whether you are an influential leader or a non-influential leader. You still have a scope that you can bring people with you, add that seat at the table, get a different perspective, find ways to make things better. I know when I have talked to a lot of our adjusting team and even adjusters at different companies, a lot of the things that they experience are they would like to cut through a lot of red tape, but don't feel the empowerment to do so. So that's where I feel like the big disconnect comes from leadership, is that if we are not empowering people to make the right decisions and make them feel that they know what they should be doing, it's the most powerful tool in the workers' compensation industry is that adjusting desk. So we should be empowering people to think differently. We should be empowering them to think outside the box. And we've got to get rid of this checkbox processing, because if we're going to stay in that space, you might as well just outsource it to AI. And you can't do that when it's human beings working with human beings. We need to focus on the art of making things better for one another. And that's not always going to be a cookie cutter approach, but we need to do a better job of having leadership cultivate this empowerment of making good things happen regardless of who you are within the organization. And we need to start bringing people together collectively and really cultivating those mentorships and making it a worthwhile membership, not a buddy for a year when you first enter an organization.
Well, it sounds like you're going to have a busy 2021.
Answer. I'm sorry, but
That,
call to
that's
action
okay.
in a different.
It sounds like you're going to have a busy 2021. We had kind of an internet weirdness thing going on there. So to finish things off, it wouldn't be an award ceremony without the ability to say thank you to people that have helped you along the way through that. So wanted to give you the opportunity to do shout outs, to the folks in the industry, the folks that have surrounded you, your supporting casts outside of work comp. I mean, you're an amalgamation of a variety of different people that have poured their lives and souls into you. So
I want to thank my workers recovery unit family, because without them, this is not ever possible. So when I came in and was like, I have this idea, let's roll with it. I mean, this group has stayed the course. They continue to try and enhance things on a daily basis. They make me better every day. And just like, we had a voicemail the other day that came into one of my adjusters, and it was an injured worker that was just calling to wish him Merry Christmas because he considered him a friend at the end of their claim. Those are the things that just like set my soul on fire. And I know that we're doing the right thing when I get to see them or hear them. Or I had another adjuster on our team that got an email from an injured worker and said, thank you so much for the get well soon card. Not only did this mean something to me, but my family realized that you guys really do care about us. Absolutely. And he went in to elaborate what a terrible year it had been for him, and not only him, but everyone experiencing the pandemic. And I loved it because she got to be that bright, shiny light for him, even in a very small moment. And that's where like this group just makes me so happy. So I'm so thankful that we've made it what it is. And it's been a lot of work, but everyone has done an amazing job. I want to thank my daughter, because on those late nights of work, she continues to support and find other avenues to also make good things happen for people. And so just such a fierce, loving soul. I want to thank you, Mark. You've been my mentor in the industry for many years, and I hope I still get many more years to come. I also want to thank Rafael Gonzalez for allowing the emotional components to shine through. And I love having like a male counterpart where we can just go back and forth with, all right, I might be being emotional. Yeah, I got you. I'll be emotional with you. And it's wonderful and it's so empowering. I have to thank Yvonne, because I wouldn't have done the speech without her coaching. So she has been a lifesaver when it comes to this. I want to thank Kristen Chavez, because I think David would be unbelievably proud of her. I think that what they have really brought this into, and I think every year the People's Choice Award gets better. Like these stories, because the more real that we have made these stories, the more that it creates a psychologically safe space for other people to share in those. And that's so powerful, because it makes people not feel alone, and it helps people share their stories. Everyone has one. Everyone's got at least a story to share in some capacity. I also want to thank the late Mike Lex. He was the president of Continental Western, who passed away in June this year. And now I'll get emotional on this, but I've never had a leader be a champion in my corner as much as that man did. He allowed us to build the workers recovery unit. He helped me create the financial plan to do it, and really was like, all right, you want to try this? Let's do it. And then when it started to be successful, he was the excited one. He would take the voicemails and go showcase this to our agents, saying, look, we do make a difference. Listen, like we make a difference to people because of these things. And to have a president of an organization go out and do that, it says so much. So he was such a big backing for our team, and his passing has really been hard, but it has been one of those things that I think he would be really proud of us. He would be unbelievably proud of us today. Whew. I'm going to end on that one, or I'm going to start crying again.
Yeah. Well, that's quite the list. I am so proud of you. There. I was emotional when you won it, because because of the investment over a period of time, and coming on top of Raphael winning it the year before, the Magna Comp Laude, coming on top of Yvonne winning the People's Choice Award last year. I mean, you were the perfect person to kind of cap off and continue that legacy from 2019 to 2020. You got so much great stuff ahead of you. You've got so many people that are going to be following your lead. And I think the Magna Comp Laude and the People's Choice Award really is, like you said, an affirming that the pain was worth it, and that the purpose is well guided, and this is just going to be a propellant for you to go forward. So I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on the Magna Comp Laude Award. Congratulations on the People's Choice Award. And I can't wait to see what Claire is in 2021.
I feel like I should say I'm going to Disney World. I'll just call it I'm going down to Disney.
Do you have any confetti or anything that we can throw out?
Oh,
You gotta have
right.
rainbow inverters.
Here we go.
There you go. There you go. Well, thanks so much, Claire. Congrats, and so excited for you and what the future holds.
Me too. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you.
And that's a wrap.
All right. Whew.